Okay, thank you. We're on to item 7A, a highlight of our meetings once a month, and that's hearing from Mary McCosker, president of the Lafayette Historical Society, on an aspect of the Lafayette history as part of our celebration of 175 plus years of Lafayette history. Mary, the floor is yours.
Okay, so tonight I'm going to regale you with tales of the schools that have been in Lafayette. The first school was built in the early 1850s by Benjamin Shreve, the first school teacher. Shreve had come to California during the gold rush, but apparently did not strike it rich and was heading back to San Francisco to return to the Midwest when he came through this small community. Elam Brown hired him to be the first teacher. The school was located on Golden Gate Way between 1st and 2nd Streets. This photo was probably taken in the 1860s at a community dance party. I'm not sure this school was being used. It sure has a lot of broken windows. Built in 1871, this building, another one-room schoolhouse, was located on today's Moraga Road. Jenny Bickerstaff is on the far right wearing an apron. She graduated from this school in 1888. Jenny was born in Pennsylvania in 1872 and came to California as a child of 7. She taught school in Contra Costa County from 1892 until she retired in 1936. Her first job was with the Moraga School District, and she also taught at the Pacheco School. Her longest tenure was 21 years with the Walnut Creek School District. She rode her horse Topsy to school. Teacher Jenny Bickerstaff and Principal Sophie Tucker stand on the steps of the 3rd Lafayette School. Jenny was a teacher here from 1889 to 1902. This school is now a part of the Lafayette United Methodist Church. The 2nd schoolhouse can be seen at the rear. James Bickerstaff was born in Ireland in 1826 and came to California in 1868. He became a naturalized citizen in 1870. He married Delilah Boyer in Pennsylvania, and Jenny was born in 1872. A son, Charlie, who was born in 1877, died the following year. In 1879, the family moved from Pennsylvania to Lafayette and bought a small farm from Elam Brown, bordering on what is now Dewing Avenue, where they had a barn, a well, and a windmill, a team of horses and a wagon, a cow, and Jenny's riding horse Topsy. Jenny helped her father plant the gardens around the house, which included several redwood trees. After Jenny's death in 1966, the family home was razed and a business was built on the property. Today, Diablo Foods occupies the site of the Bickerstaff home, and one of Jenny's redwood trees remains to remind us of Miss Jenny and her services to Lafayette. Lafayette Elementary School was opened in 1927 as the school-aged population in the town had grown. The first teacher principal was W.B. Bill Ellis from 1932 to 1947. He was Lafayette School's principal and district superintendent from 1947 to 1950. He became the district's full-time superintendent in 1950 until he retired in 1962. Part of the school was demolished in 1997 and new classrooms were built, as well as a multi-purpose room and library. Other classrooms were remodeled and additional classrooms have been added in the past few years. Vallecito School opened in 1949 and was closed in 1983. The name of the school means Little Valley, as the site was located between the nearby hills. When the school was closed, the students from Vallecito were sent to Happy Valley or Lafayette School. The school and property were sold to Bentley School in 1995, and it's now a private high school. Montecito School also opened in 1949. The name means little mountain, as the school was built on the eastern end of Lafayette near some hills. The school was closed in 1979 and was later sold to the Mayor's School. After the school was closed, students from this area attended Spring Hill and Burton Valley schools. Stanley School opened in 1953. It was named after Matthew Howard Stanley, who moved to Lafayette in 1925 and owned a drugstore on Mount Diablo Boulevard. He was elected to the Lafayette School Board in the late 1920s. Over the next 25 years, he helped oversee the school system's growth from a single 3-room schoolhouse with 150 pupils to 3 schools with 1,800 students. In the 1930s, Lafayette residents began forming a high school district to include Lafayette, Orinda, Moraga, and Walnut Creek. Mr. Stanley was voted to the Board of Trustees for the new Acalanes High School District in 1938. By 1956, when Mr. Stanley left the school board, Las Lomas and Miramani were up and running. In addition to his contribution to local schools, he was also on the board of the Fire District, helped to form the Contra Costa County Sanitary District, was on the planning committee for the construction of the Caldecott Tunnel, on the committee to establish the Lafayette Library, and worked with the Boy Scouts, the Lions Club, and the American Legion. After a year-long renovation during the 1992-93 school year, 6th graders began attending Stanley Intermediate, along with 7th and 8th graders. The 4 elementary schools became K through 5. Burton School opened in 1954 and was closed in 1979. The school was located on St. Mary's Road and was named after the Burton family who farmed the property in this part of Lafayette. The property was sold to the city in 1983 and became the Lafayette Community Center. Spring Hill School opened in 1955. The school was demolished, except for the multipurpose room, in 1997 and completely rebuilt by 1999. Classes were housed in portable buildings until the construction was completed. The name Spring Hill may have come from the geography of the area, which included hills and springs. Happy Valley School was opened in 1956 and is still in use today. It was remodeled in the 1990s, and new classrooms have been added several times between now and then. The name Happy Valley was first mentioned in 1887, but it's unknown why this name was chosen for this area and thus for this school. Fairview Middle School opened in 1958 as Lafayette's 2nd intermediate school with 7th and 8th grades. It shared a campus with Marywood Elementary School. In 1978, the school board voted to consolidate 3 elementary schools and 2 intermediate schools due to declining enrollment and less school funding from the state of California. In 1979, it became Burton Valley Elementary School when students from Montecito, Burton, and Marywood were moved to the campus. The 7th and 8th grade students from Fairview were moved to Stanley Intermediate School. Marywood Elementary School shared a campus with Fairview and was opened in 1959. In 1979, the elementary school was closed and the entire site became Burton Valley Elementary School. Ellis School opened in January of 1963 and was closed in 1976. It was located on the east side of Pleasant Hill Road off of Quant Road. When it was opened, it housed 150 kindergarten through 5th grade students. After the school was closed, the land was sold to a private developer who built homes on the site. The school was named for Bill Ellis, longtime teacher, principal, and superintendent of schools. At first, Mr. Ellis did not want a school named after him, so other names were suggested: Sir Francis Drake School, Quant School, Shreve School, after Benjamin Shreve, first school teacher. Ellis School was eventually used as the name. In 1954, the school district's enrollment was 2,824. By 1959, it had grown to 4,348. In the 1970s, schools were closed due to declining enrollment. At one time, the district supported 10 schools. Today, there are only 5 schools plus Acalanes High School, and the elementary enrollment is about 3,200 students. On September 10th, 1940, Acalanes High School opened with a flag-raising ceremony. There were 406 students enrolled the first fall. For several years after its completion, the school was used as an example of the most advanced school design at national architectural conventions and in architectural magazines. 67 seniors graduated in June of 1941. Prior to its opening, students from the La Miranda and Walnut Creek areas rode the Sacramento Northern train and attended Mount Diablo High School in Concord. So, hope you've been taking notes because there's going to be a quiz pretty soon. Anyway, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there questions?
No, I mean, I do have a question, but actually a comment. I do want to thank you, Mary, for doing that. And I know that both of us have a special place in heart for our schools. And I was curious when you were rattling off Bill Ellis's volunteer committee service. So I did actually Google, and he was a Citizen of the Year. So what I think the third one, but anyway, I just was like, well, wait a minute, he did everything here, but thank you so much.
Well, I have to say, my wife moved here in a year I'm not allowed to mention, but she went to 4 schools, all of which are now closed or repurposed. But the one you didn't mention was Del Valle. I don't know if you count that with it. Okay, well, Lafayette kids went there, but anyway, yeah, that was. Yeah, right. I'll tell her that. All right. Thanks again. Oh, does anyone in the public have a question or a comment? Mary, I'm just going to see if there's any public comments or questions for you. No one.
Dury and council, I have no speaker slips, but I do have a hand raised. It's 2-1, Cheryl McDonald. So she is being allowed to speak. Cheryl?
That was a wonderful presentation. I loved hearing about all the schools and experiencing times that I grew up here. I just wondered if Mary knew very much about nursery schools and the orientation of what was called Humpty Dumpty College, which is now known as the Firehouse. And she knew the beginnings of the nursery school called Humpty Dumpty College. That's it. Thank you. And it was a wonderful presentation. What fun. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, thank you. We'll look forward to October 10th.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to
Mayor,
item.
I have one other hand raised. It's Ravi Reddy.
Is he
He's
ready for a later item?
if
Oh, no. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to say I really appreciated the Historical Society's presentation. Wonderfully done, and we're all very proud of their work. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, we're on to item 7B,